So I am recording now. Right? So all these are the symbols. Not the system.
You write down.
Right. Ask you this. Do you know any other symbols for numbers that have been used? Okay? Tally marks is one way of counting, yeah? Roman numeral, yeah. Now, I'm going to go with Roman numerals. Does anyone know the Roman numerals?
I.
So should we write these down? Let's write them together. So Roman numerals, we've got, yeah,
I
a 1.
equals 1.
Yeah.
V equals 1.
Well, we got 1, what's 2?
2.
I.
No.
3 is
I.
I. 4 is
V.
5. V. 6. V. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14.
V.
15.
V.
16.
V.
Okay, that's quite good. You're good with those. What system did they use? Do you know? There's a couple of parts to this. Well, their system is we put a mark to count, but there are certain important points, aren't there? So we've got a symbol for 1. We've got a special symbol for 5. We've got a special symbol for 10. Okay.
I think 15.
Yeah, I'm no good past them, but there are other ones, aren't there? So there's like I, B, X. There's like an L and a C. L's 50 is there and a C and that. Don't know. I'm getting lost now. But that's their system. Now, what's the problem with their system? Yep. Be really confusing. And as numbers get really, really big, they need a new symbol every time, don't they? So let me explain what the problem with that is. Well, if we are in Roman times, there's not that much stuff around. There were no billionaires in Roman times. You know, they had lots of gold and coins and stuff, but no one needed to count that high. Even the number of people in the world was nowhere near what it is now. There was something came up on the computer that showed what the biggest cities were in the world over the years, how many people were in them. And for a lot of time, like, I think Rome was a massive city, right? Huge. But it only had thousands of people in it. You know, Bermuda has 60,000, yeah? Bigger. London, Rome now has millions. So things are a lot bigger now than they ever were. So can you imagine if someone in Rome was a billionaire and they had to count up their money and write it down, they'd probably have to come up with a few new symbols or have a really long load of things like this, yeah? So their system was limited by size. It just became really complex. And we'd have to have an infinite number of symbols depending on what they had to count. Does that make sense? That's the limitation of their one. Right? Plus, have you ever looked into like the history of who does maths? Romans didn't really do maths. Greeks did maths. Greek people. Persians did maths. What symbol is not in the Roman numerals?
20.
Well, there is one for 20. XX would be 20. There's one number that we use that's super important for our system that doesn't exist. 0, yes. There's no 0 in Roman numerals, and that's what's the most important symbol for us. Years ago, our symbols were just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We didn't have a 0. In Persia, they introduced a 0 and it changed all our maths. Okay. So, bearing in mind, the Roman system was just to keep coming up with new symbols as the numbers get bigger. What's our system? Yeah. We don't do that actually. We have a set number of symbols. Do we ever need new symbols for our numbers? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So our system, is basically what Ken's saying, okay, revolves around, I'm sure you've heard this, place value. Okay? Now this, I'm sure you've heard that before, but here's the important thing. This is where we're gonna move in probably next lesson. We're gonna talk about something that is gonna confuse you. Alright? And the reason why I say it's gonna confuse you is I had to learn to be a teacher. We were given this problem and it confused me. Not because it's hard, but because it's unusual. Alright? So our system revolves around place value and, okay, it is in what we call base 10. Do you know what that means? What's base 10? Base 10 basically means we count in groups of 10. Okay? Yeah.
Every time you add
Okay. Now, what we're going to, I know this might be something you've heard of. As we move forward, things like we add a 0 to multiply by 10, I'm going to start moving you away from saying things like that to understanding why we add a 0. That's why 0 is super important. Okay? So, do you know what we mean by place value? Go for it.
if a number is more to the front of the whole number, or a symbol is more to the front of the whole number, it has more value.
Yeah, okay, so I gave you that sheet, sorry, if this is wonky, it's because I stand like here. If I go over here and stand like that, yeah, it's all wonky there. I'm sorry about that, it's not intentional. I stand here, it's perspective, I'm sure you've done that in art, right? We have a place value system, and you've seen this before. What's our first column? Ones, units. The next columns, tens, in a set. Hundreds, thousands. Now, do you notice how each group is 10 lots of the one before? Do you remember that sheet I gave you? Some of you did that. I gave you these to shade in. Yeah, that's what we were looking at. Pardon? No, it was the first day you were here. But you were doing stuff on the computer. People didn't have a computer. Okay, so nice and simple. If I gave you a number like 4, 2, 3, 6, 1, 4, can anyone read that number to me? 423,640. Why does some? Again,
They're getting confused because you said
now people are sort of rushing around in binders.
no, nothing.
Right. What we're going to do is we're going to write this number in what's called, and this is important, right? I'm going to put a little star in your assessment, and it's called expanded form. Okay, so do I stop here and let you write down this stuff? Okay, I'm going to stop here and let you finish it off. So expanded form, guys. There's a few things I'm actually going to extend on. So I see what a few of you have written, which is perfectly correct, is to say this is 400,000 plus 20,000 plus 3,000 plus 600 plus a 10 plus a 4. Have you got a different way? We've got that. Okay, we're going to change it slightly. I'm not saying this is wrong, by the way. I'm just saying there's another couple of forms just to extend you just a little bit. So this would be 4 times 100,000.
6.
Okay, plus 2 times 10,000. Can you finish? And then a third way is to say 4 times 10, okay, to the power of 5 plus 2 and you can check whether I'm right. Don't know whether I am actually. So can you finish off those two methods? The fit criterion B, like, what did I do? So you probably know this one. Do you know what this one is? To finish it off. So you should have 3 times 1,000 plus 6 times 100 plus 1 times 10 plus 4 times 1. Okay. If you got to this line, you will have 3 times 10 to the power of 3 plus 6 times 10 to the power of 2 plus 1 times 10 to the power of 1. And as Caleb was just saying, worked out that this will be 4 times 10 to the power of 0. That's quite an important one. So that's expanded form. 3 different ways of expanded form. So as I've said, expanded form will definitely be in your assessment coming up. So put a little star, don't know yet, when we're ready. We won't do an assessment until we're ready. Okay, but it will be in it, I can tell you that. Okay? Cool. Now, the reason why we're looking at this is our number system. What we're going to start looking at is, well, could we use other groupings? Could we use other number bases? So can we go up in 4s or 6s or things like that? And that's where it gets confusing. All right? Or if you're into computer coding, binary is base 2. Okay? I'm going to pause.